Hello everybody, and welcome to the first official episode of DTDcember, a series in which I'll be counting down my top 12 GTA villains of all time. If you want more info on this series, feel free to check out my previous video where I explain the rules of my list, as well as how this series is going to work in general. But without any further ado, my number 12 entry into this list is Massimo Torini from Liberty City Stories. In this title, we play as Tony Cipriani of the Leone crime family at a time when the Sicilian Mafia arrives in Liberty City with the intent of taking over the town's criminal underworld. In order to do this, the mob of the old country sparks turmoil within Liberty City's three main mafia families, manipulating them into weakening each other so that Torini's family can swoop in and conquer them all. Additionally, both the Sicilians and the Leones get involved in the town's mayoral politics as they each have their own vested interests in the two candidates, and thus each try to get their man into office. The Sicilians prove to be worthwhile antagonists, as their influence in the city legitimately threatens the survival of the Leone crime family, with Torini's actions leading to Salvatore Leone being arrested following the rigged election of Miles O'Donovan to the mayor's office. But in the end, Tony and Salvatore overpower Torini and his forces and knock them onto the back foot, leaving them begging for peace before we confront and kill the game's main villain himself in the final mission of the game. But as interesting as our Sicilian opposition makes this game, I think Torini as the face of their operation ends up being a rather weak antagonist at the end of the day. Sure, the Sicilians nearly topple the Leone Empire under his leadership, but at least from a narrative perspective, he himself doesn't really do much to leave a lasting impact on the series, and it's because of his lack of exposure in the story. I'll be honest, when I played through this game, I didn't even realize he was the Sicilian boss until the finale because he'd only appeared in one random tailing mission before then. And even after it was all said and done, I was still left thinking that this guy was meant to be the game's main antagonist. And be honest with me, how many of you thought the same thing until just now? For that matter, how many of you even remember Massimo Torini at all? Unlike the villains of Grand Theft Auto games Future and prior, Massimo Torini isn't all that memorable as a character since there really isn't that much to remember about him, apart from his awesome mustache. If he had more appearances in the game, I'm sure he could have earned a higher rank in my list of GTA villains. But in spite of his threatening status and everything that he did to nearly defeat our protagonist, the lack of screen time he suffers from has greatly diminished him as a character in my eyes. That's not to say that he's the worst villain in Grand Theft Auto though, just merely that he is the 12th best on my list of greatest GTA villains of all time. But in order to have earned that rank, there had to have been 11 characters who fit this role better than he did, and in a couple of days I'll unveil my pick for the number 11 spot on this list. So until then, feel free to let me know down below what you think of Torini, Liberty City Stories, or just this video in general. Thank you all for watching. I hope you all have a blessed couple of days, and I'll see you guys on Thursday. This is your boy Doug the Dog 6, and I am signing off.